How much money are you leaving on the table by not having an assistant? I am so excited to talk about this today because I feel very passionate about delegating and letting people help you. And entrepreneurship doesn't need to be as hard as you're making it. Somebody just told me how they felt that if they were to do something like this, it would almost feel like cheating. Like taking on help would feel unfair. Right? But that's just a silly story that they've made up in their head to allow them to stay in the hustle, to stay in the overwhelm, right? And it's okay to have help. So if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. We're going to make sure you are aware of that before you leave here today. The goal is stop working as your own assistant. Stop doing it. All right? Many of you are doing it now. Now, with this phrase, you might be thinking you just don't have the time or the mental space to even consider bringing somebody on. A lot of people say, I know I need well-oiled operations, Stacey, but I don't have time to implement it right now. Like, that's why you need the program. You're in a catch 22 where you know you need the thing, but then you're like, but I don't have time to train. I don't have time to hire. I don't have the money to learn how to make money, right? And you will stay in this cycle over and over and over again. How do you get out of a rut? By doing something different, right? In my last book, I gave the story of like, if somebody is stuck in a ditch, what do? They are turning the wheel over and over again. They might try to push one way and then the other way and like go heavier on the gas. And like they're trying to do all different things. If they were just to stay right in that rut and keep sticking with the rut, you'd go, what are you doing? That didn't work. But yet we do it in our business over and over and over again. So I'm going to talk about just some things when it comes to an assistant. I'm going to share our brand spanking new offer. This is, I don't want you to think, because I know you might think my programs are an investment. These are every single person listening could afford this. It is that insanely cheap. So just wait till you hear what we've put together for you and what we have. All right. Now, if you are, I should say this, not if, you are leaving money on the table if you are your own assistant. If you do not have an assistant, it is a fact. You are leaving money on the table by doing all of the things instead of doing only the right things, right? So you maybe thought you'd be further along by now. Maybe you thought you'd have more sales, you'd be having more referrals, right? It seems like things should start to feel easier by now, but your brain never shuts off. You're convinced you're always forgetting something. You're constantly checking your calendar, right? You're getting interrupted by notifications. This is not the way to run a successful business. Now, imagine starting your workday, coming into your office, knowing that before you even sit down, people are doing things that are moving the business along. Like my executive assistant, there is never a moment that she doesn't have something she could be doing that is taken off my plate. So let's say I woke up today and I just felt awful, like did not feel good. And that almost happened with Tegan, who was not feeling great. And I thought, oh, wow, I'm going to be watching her all day today. But then she ended up, I think she realized it's like the first warm day here in Wisconsin. And she's like, Reese says it's going to be amazing. So she wanted to go to school. But for a moment, I thought my day is totally changing around, right? And it would have been okay if she would have been sick and I needed to be with her all day, because my business would still have done things that would have been moving the needle without me showing up. If you right now know that if you didn't show up to work, balls would be dropped, things would not be like, maybe the business wouldn't be growing, then I can see why you're feeling stressed out and feeling like you've got to get in there. All right. There is other ways to run a business than what you've been doing. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody, because I've been publicly saying like, I'm ready to get out of hustle mode a little bit, but there are levels of hustle. Okay. There are levels. I currently, and for the last few years, have only worked like 9 to 3 and then never worked on weekends. Okay. So when I say I feel like I'm in a little bit of a hustle mode, it's not about I work 70 hours or even 40 hours, right? It's not like I'm working too much, Right now, I'm working on working not as hard. Okay. So there's a different hustle. I want to get you to the hustle of just, I know a lot of people listening, you're working 7 days a week or your brain is running 7 days a week. I can promise you that on Sunday, uh, work wasn't popping into my head. I was planting flowers with the girls for Mother's Day. We went on a family walk. Like we ate outside on our deck because the weather's finally warm here, right? I wasn't thinking, "Oh, I got to get in my office and do this. Oh, I got to do this." Or, "Oh, I got." That didn't happen. But that takes time. That is a skill we've got to get better at, okay? Now, here's what I'll tell you. You don't need a course or training to tell you what to do. You need a system to walk you through this process step by step. Okay. And I'm going to share that system with you today. Now, to prepare, number one, you really just need a really good job description, a really good, accurate job description. Okay. Now, I've shared mine with you publicly. Maybe you've seen that already. We can get that to you if you want it. No worries. But it is not for you to take and swipe completely unless you and I are the exact same person with the exact same type of business and everything I said you needed to. I can't tell you how many times I had a client who will say, "Okay, I modeled you doing this. And then I realized the reason you were doing it was nothing to do with what I have going on in my life or my business." Right? Like I had a client say they modeled their work hours after my work hours. And they were like, "I realized you did that because that's when the kids go to school. And my kids aren't in school." And it's so hard. Like I'm a very coachable person. So when I hear my coaches doing something, I'm the same way. I'm like, "Okay, you're going to do this, so am I," right? But when you model something that doesn't make sense for you, it's ineffective. So when I give you my job description, please do not take it unless you've got the exact same situation because we're very different. Like my husband is home with me all day. And at any moment I could say to him, "Hey, could you run and go do this? Hey, could you go do this? Sarah needs this. Could you drive this to her house?" And he could do that. If you don't have somebody on demand in your home all day long, we are probably not in the same situation. My EA may be doing very different things than your EA because you don't have that support, right? Or maybe you have more support where it's just, again, a very different situation. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you thinking, I want you to actually, like, you can use mine as a guide, but what I really want you to do is I want you to pay attention to your day. Every time there's a frustration, every time there's like a, "Oh, shoot, I wish I could do fill in the blank," or, "Man, I really need to get to this, but I just don't have time," write it down. And by the end of the week, if you do that every single day, you will have a job description that is unique for you and what you need with your family, with your business, right? It will be perfectly customized to you. So that's where I want you to start is you want to attract the person that wants this job. If you use my job description to a T and somebody's like, "Oh, this is exciting." Like, "Yes, I want to do this." And then they get into your business and they're like, "This is not what the job description was saying I was going to do," right? If your business isn't like my business, they're not going to be working on the same stuff, right? So you've got to make sure you're attracting the kind of person who sees your accurate job description and says, "Yes, I'm in. I love this. This is exciting." Now, one of the big myths of, I think there's two problems. It's like, I don't have time to train somebody. It would be just faster for me to do it myself. Holy cow, that's like the worst thing you could ever tell yourself. Promise that's not true. Okay. But that's what people say, right? It's like, I could just do it faster myself. No, there's no way. Not over the long run, right here, not over the span of time. The other thing is, I just can't afford one right now, right? Here's what I want you to hear. It could be as little as 5 hours a week. So let's say you get an assistant and you spend $20 an hour, which you can get a great assistant for $20 an hour. 5 hours a week, that's $400 a month. If you don't believe that you are leaving $400 a month on the table right now, you're probably delusional. Like if you don't have help and you're doing all the things and you don't believe that you could outsource something and then work on the higher level tasks and make $400 back a month, I guarantee you're wrong. Like it's that is I've never seen a situation where I've been like, "You know what? You're right. That makes sense for you to do that job that's like 15 bucks an hour there." Like, "Yeah, you know what? Even 20. Like, yeah, you're right. That's worth $20 an hour. You should keep that on your plate. I haven't met a CEO that honestly has said to me, my hourly rate is $20 an hour and business is great and profit margin is great. No, a $20 an hour worker as a CEO doesn't exist. Not with a business that is going to be at a level you need it to be to fulfill your dreams, right? At least for the powerhouses I attract. Okay. There's no one in here that's excited about $20 an hour. Okay. So right now you're procrastinating on something, or you're dropping balls, or you're doing tedious work that like my 9-year-old could do. And you might be thinking, okay, there's no way. No, there are jobs that my 9-year-old can do in both of my businesses. And that is a fact. Okay. So I want to just stay there. Now, after you get that clear job description, here's the next thing that we work through and kind of teach. All right. The second piece to this, after you've done the clear job description, should I say that one more time just to make sure that that has not been lost on you? Okay. So the second piece of that is now you weed out the unqualified people you've attracted. So even though you tried to attract a certain kind of person, you've attracted a lot more people, right? And you've got to have some processes to start to weed out and to have them self-select. Okay. I always tell people, make them jump through hoops. The harder you make it, it becomes the survival of the fittest. And you've only got a handful of people at the end, right? And by the time they're done, you've only got 3, 4, 5 resumes to actually, and I don't even really check resumes, but you've got 3, 4, 5 people to interview versus 100 people that replied on Indeed. Okay. So we teach like give them hoops to jump through, make it harder. Okay. The second piece to that, after you've done that and you've got a few people that you're really excited about, right? As you weed out the candidates, you get down to 2 or 3 maximum qualified candidates you like. Not just like you love, like you'd be excited about it. If number 3 is not that exciting, go down to 1 and 2. Okay. From there, I want you to create a sample project that you will give 2, maximum 3. And it's only because you truly love all 3 and you cannot decide who is the perfect fit. But I honestly believe you can get it down to 2. So you're going to create a sample project for them. Then after that, you're going to craft an offer letter that makes them say, like, it's like the no-brainer offer, but for a candidate, like for an employee, right? Or a contractor. This is the no-brainer. Why would I not like take this job? Okay. Now you might think, well, I picked them. They're my favorite. Of course they're going to accept. Like they applied for the job. Do you know how many times we see clients go to, and we've done this ourselves, right? We go and we say, okay, we've picked you. And they don't respond because maybe they've taken something else, or they say, I'm so sorry, I accepted something yesterday. Because they're interviewing us as much as we're interviewing them. And an offer letter is literally the sales page for your contractor or employee to be like, yes, this is the one I want to buy. Like, this is the one I want to like join, right? We treat our clients the same way we treat our team members. Just like we have to sell to our clients to get them to be like, hello, this is a no-brainer offer. We have to do that with our team. Okay. Now I'm so excited because we have, oh man, we've been working hard on this for the last couple months. But what we've been doing is putting together a small miniature, I don't want to say course because it's truly not a course. It is a system. Okay. So the details are all over at aplayerassistant.com, but I'm going to give you some details here as well. So aplayerassistant.com. The first thing that we're teaching is it's a $47 course. And it is, I shouldn't say course, I want to say system, because I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to share my screen what I'm talking about. So we are saying to you, we've given you the entire system with all of the templates to hire your very own executive assistant in 14 days or less. Okay. It's $47. You get it for lifetime access. You should be running right now. You should have already paused my video to go grab that $47 offer because it's that insane. Now, let me show you what it looks like inside the program really quickly. If you're listening to this, you're still going to get value out of me telling you what's inside. Okay. So let me share my screen. I've got to stop share and reshare a different video. I'm so excited. Wait till you see this. Okay. So I'll make that bigger for you. Okay, so this is inside the program, how to hire your A player assistant in 14 days or less. So it is a short 50 minute video. Okay. That reviews every one of the templates because you are buying a system. Okay. So we have a workbook. So if you're like, I don't even have 50 minutes to watch this. Okay, no problem. The entire video has been transcribed into a workbook where you don't even have to watch me do it. Okay. The next template we've given you is our hiring email and social media post template. So we're literally saying you can just send an email out and you can just post this on social media. We've given you our job posting. We've given you our recruiting guide, where to do this, how to do this, all the things. Remember how I talked about jumping through hoops? All of that is in there. So we have a certain like form that they have to fill out and a certain process of why we don't allow them just to submit their resume or to fill it out on Indeed. We literally make them jump through hoops, all of the hoops. We have given you the exact like framework template. You can snag it, take out my business name, put in your business name in every one of these steps. Okay. We gave you all of the interview questions. Now, just so you understand, this is just for an executive assistant. Every one of these things is geared for the executive assistant. So, what questions would you ask an EA? What sample project would you give an EA? That's in there. The offer letter for it is in there as well. Okay. So, every single thing you're going to need to hire and attract this amazing person is in this system for $47. Okay. Now, that is the price we are kicking off with. I do not foresee when you see how amazing this is that it's going to stay at 47. Okay. So if you want to grab it now while it's at that 47, go for it. When you go buy it, the next thing is going to say, hey, but wait, did you want to grab the checklist, like the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual to dos and checklist for my assistant? Okay. So what does that mean? So first of all, I do a small training over the checklist, like what my EA does on a Monday, every Monday, what she does every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday. And then what does she do only once a week? What does she do once a month? What does she do once a quarter and once a year? That is all in there for you. If you add that on, that little piece, that piece is 37. So if you wanted to add that on, go grab that. It also is CSV file. That means it came from my project management software, and whatever software you use, you could grab it and upload it to your software. So it's in a nice, pretty form right inside of your software. Okay. Then last, there's only 3 pieces. This is my favorite part. Okay. My favorite part. I believe some people will not even need to hire somebody. They're going to already have an EA, but they will buy all 3 steps just to get the 3rd piece, because you can't get the 3rd piece without buying our 1st step. You don't have to buy the 2nd step, but you have to buy the 1st piece to get the 3rd piece. So this next piece we are calling our EA training assets. And this is insane. So it's $97. And here is what you get. Okay. So first of all, it would be like you've hired your EA and you're going, now what do I do with her? And this is the program they watch on day 1. So we've got the videos that they are going to watch, EA expectations, my training video for calendar management, for their additional tasks they could be taking on, how to communicate and set up meetings with you and the CEO and the EA, how to prioritize, how to organize physical papers if they do anything in your home office, really stepping up to becoming that next level rockstar EA, organizing their workspace. All of those videos are inside of here. We have a few small CEO videos, short, sweet, so that you know what to do with this person on day 1. You know how to actually like onboard them, what to do on day 1. We gave you an agenda. Okay. Just different tips and strategies and things that you'll want to know to really be successful with this person. Okay. The templates. So everything my EA uses to organize my life, we gave you inside of these templates for your EA. So for $97, all of these training assets, all of these templates that he or she will get to keep for a lifetime, which means if you buy them and put them in your training portal, if you get a new assistant in 3 years, it's like, no worries. How are you going to train them? Get them back in this system. Okay. So we've got the workbook, we've got the home checklist, important facts, our personal business directories, our one-on-one meeting agenda, some phone scripts. I actually teach you like, why is my EA calling people? Well, she's setting up doctor's appointments and dentist appointments and doing all the things. Like she's managing our household. So she has all of her phone scripts of what she says on the phone, what to do, things you don't want to forget, all of that. Canned like template email responses as well. There's a lot. But here's the deal. If you don't train your EA properly, not only did you just waste your money hiring them, but now you're leaving money on the table because you're wasting money, right? Because you're spending money to hire them, but they don't know what to do, and you don't have time to tell them what to do. So let me come in and tell them what to do. If you want your EA running as effectively as my EA, this is how we trained her. Okay. This is what we put in place to get her up and running as fast as possible. So, depending where you're at and what you need, if I were you, I would go snag all three of those. Those prices on all three, those are just for us as we launch this introductory. Those will not stay at that price point. Everything we created, we knew we created where it could double in price. Like that $97 course at the end could easily be $197 or $297. Okay. So if you want to go grab it now before we increase those, and not only that, it's like, who cares? Like, it's not like you can't afford it a month from now, 3 months from now, whatever. It's about what is it costing you to not have an effective EA right now working with you. That's the scary part, okay? So go to aplayerassistant.com. You'll see those options there. It will not prompt you for any of the second or third until you buy the first. I did think, should I sell the third just by itself in case somebody already has an EA? And I was like, no, because at some point, you will want our hiring process. When that EA, something's not working or something's not right, it's because you probably didn't hire the right EA and you're going to want this. So no, we are not selling the third piece without you purchasing the first. Take it or leave it. Trust me, the end piece is worth the $147 or whatever you're going to pay. So a player assistant, I cannot wait to hear what you think. I cannot wait to hear you say, we just hired the most amazing assistant. And then how much money you've made or how much time you've saved because this person has been brought onboarding in an effective manner. Okay, a player assistant